What if improving movement isn't about doing more, but about sensing better? Today, many people don't just want to be stronger, they want to move well. Not overly specialized, but capable. Able to adapt, transfer, and express movement across disciplines. And this is exactly where things become difficult, because much of traditional training is built to be linear. It teaches us how to build tension, how to accumulate it, how to hold it. And that's powerful and necessary, but it doesn't automatically translate into skill. Effortless movement quality isn't forged the same way strength is. It emerges under conditions where precision matters more than force. Think of acrobatics. Small timing errors, minimal misalignment, and the entire movement changes. Now in this video, you'll experience an exercise designed to develop exactly that. Playful, precise, and quietly demanding. Ready to deepen your movement awareness and explore what effortlessness in motion can actually feel like? Let's dive in. Welcome to yet another movement lesson. So for this one, I have a task which is quite simple. You will place a book on top of one of your feet, turn around, arrive with your stomach down. How you do it? This is up to you. Stop the video now, give it a try, and only then come back for a full tutorial and many other ways to play with a book and your body's awareness. Before we start with the full breakdown of this task, let's have a quick look at why we are even practicing something like that. And in order to answer this question, let's take a look at this book, because it's not just any book, it is a book written by Moshe Feldenkrais, which is called Awareness Through Movement. Feldenkrais was trained as a physicist and engineer, worked closely with early pioneers of neuroscience, and had a lifelong background in martial arts. He approached movement with the mind of a scientist and the body of a practitioner. What made his work influential wasn't just his personal story, but the method he developed. A way of learning through movement that has since shaped physical therapy, somatic education, dance, sports training, and rehabilitation worldwide. Feldenkrais was interested in how humans actually change the way they move. Not how a movement looks once, but how new movement options become available over time. This is why exploration matters, and why play isn't separate from learning, but part of how learning happens. From this perspective, there is rarely a single correct way to move. Movement emerges from the interaction between your body, the task, and the environment. Each situation offers several possibilities or affordances. Which of these you can use depends on what you're able to perceive. Most of us repeat the same movement patterns not because they're optimal, but because they're familiar. They're the options our nervous system recognizes most easily. This beautiful task starts not with our feet, but actually just with our hands. So the task is that you take a book, place it on top of the palm of your hands, make sure that you don't grab, otherwise it's really just too easy. You will lie on your back and you will try to turn around without the book dropping. Since we're already touching on a bit of theory in this video, it's worth briefly looking at the homunculus. The homunculus is a map of the body in the brain. It shows how much neural real estate different body parts receive, and it's not proportional to size. It's proportional to sensitivity and control. Hands, in particular, are massively overrepresented. They're packed with sensory receptors and capable of very fine, differentiated movement. This is why this exercise feels noticeably easier with the hands than with the feet. The brain simply receives more detailed information. Now, the way that I would propose doing this is really just taking one book at the start. Place it on top of your right hand if you want to roll over towards the left side. Now, most importantly is from the start you want to find a strategy, a tactic, so you don't run into the problem that you cannot turn your hand anymore. So from the start, what I like to do is create this nice and open swipe, right? And this motion now enables me to somehow roll over to my to my belly, and I can really use this other arm for now in order to support myself, as you can see right here. Now make sure that your legs are moving freely and openly. They don't need to be stiff, your body doesn't need to be overly tense. You can really just allow your body to adapt to this task. From the start, I really recommend to focus on your breath in a way that it can flow easily and openly. It should not feel like a limiting factor. And while this task is not about perfection or about getting somewhere really, of course you can take simply a second book into your other hand to make the task even more complex, giving your body even more of a challenge to try to solve this nice little movement riddle. To come back to Moshe Feldenkrais, a principle he often used in his work was the idea of reversibility. Can you perform a movement towards one side and then reverse it? If you can, you probably reached a bigger level of movement awareness. So give it a try with this task. And as you can see here, I am really playing with different options. I'm not limiting myself to just one. And a tennis ball on a book could be an optimal challenge to give yourself the work that you need. But of course, this one is very tough. Ball droppings are guaranteed. If we want to progress towards balancing with our feet, a couple of tips for you. Number one, make sure to use books that can drop down without hurting your sole. So don't be too personally attached to the books, because falling books can be destroyed over time. So that's one thing. The other thing is, if you are wearing socks, it gets extra slippery, because books on feet, there is some friction to it, right? But then if you wear socks, they will easily slide off. So as a beginner doing all of these tasks, wearing socks makes things unnecessarily hard. So barefoot is the way to go. A great starting point is really just lying on your back and balancing the book on your foot and exploring small different movement options. Don't think already about the full turn, just explore how the book on your foot feels like. What this is doing can easily be explored with, remember the weird homunculus? Well, exercises like this give underrepresented areas a chance to catch up, just like our feet. It's like turning up the resolution in parts of the map that were previously blurred. By moving slowly, exploring options and staying attentive, the nervous system starts to fill in details that were missing before. To start out with the feet, what I like to do is right leg and turn towards the left, or left leg turn towards the right. I think this is much easier than the other way around. Now, the first thing that you need to figure out is, do you need to keep this leg bent, or do you want to straighten it out, right? This task, as you know, is all about exploration, so don't be shy and simply give your body a couple different options. Now, the most important aspect now from here is learning how to rotate your legs, so finding this nice hip rotation that really allows the book to turn around. One thing that happens here to a lot of beginners, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, you just need to work on it over time, is that you want to kind of like raise your hip in order to get this rotation down. As soon as you'll try it, you will know what I mean. Now, keeping your hip on the floor is quite tough and needs a lot of internal rotation, but if that is too hard, allow yourself to kind of float over, elevate the hip a little bit in order to make the task easier. Looking at the book will also make things much easier at first, because you kind of then better understand how the foot is supported, how the book can be carried best, and only after some time you can also try to let your eyes wander throughout the room, throughout the space, and just let the body do this task. I personally view tasks like this like a moving meditation even. You cannot just think about random things unless you're a pro at these exercises, but you really have to focus, not just with your mind, but really your whole body has to be in a state of flow and focus. As soon as you figured out one side and how to rotate your foot, so to achieve the task, you can also try to go towards the other side, which I'm showing right here. And there is this moment, of course, where you have to kind of step over your leg in order to get the task done. Really play with this task, try out different options, and when frustration kicks in, remember to breathe. So if you figured out through trying these tasks that your hips don't like to rotate so much, that the mobility seems to be a very much limiting factor for you, here's a very nice drill that you can simply do in between the book exercise in order to get your hips a little bit more open and loose. I like to really find this nice opening and only then at the last moment follow through with the other leg. So I push it outwards as much as I can, again this rotation ability, and then I let the other leg come through. This one is great to work this external rotation, right? Outwards rotation. If we now struggle more with the internal rotation, you can leave both of your legs very nice and wide and open and upright, and then simply try to rotate one knee down, slowly, 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 and back up again without the other one collapsing towards the outside. So this one really is great to work this internal rotation. As soon as you reach a state with this exercise that is quite challenging for you, I want to reiterate and remind you to keep your breath flowing. It could be 2 books on your feet, like I'm showing here. It could be books on all of your limbs, or it could be really just books on your hands. It's a very individual and personal journey. Still, opening up your breath really will make this task much easier. Please remember that the exercises presented in this video right now are really just a suggestion, a proposition, right? You can play this task in so many different variations, figuring out some rolls on the go, maybe just focusing on the hands, taking it up to standing, finding interesting, neat little patterns and moves, transitions on the way. In the end, this task is only a doorway. What matters is what it reveals. The ability to stay curious inside a movement, to sense more precisely, and to adjust how much effort the situation actually asks for. Once you start working this way, it doesn't stay confined to one exercise. The same principles carry over into almost every other movement context. In disciplines like acrobatics, this becomes especially clear. When timing, orientation, and contact with space have to align within fractions of a second, raw force alone isn't enough. What keeps the movement alive is fine perception and the ability to adapt. Or when fear enters movement, like the moment of taking off into a handstand. Exploring different entries, exits, and ways of redirecting yourself creates options you can rely on when things don't go as planned. Practice on its own already takes you far, but when you pair it with a bit more sensitivity, movement begins to organize itself differently, with less effort and more intelligence. I hope this one was a great start for you. Wishing you all of the joy for future movement explorations. Make sure to subscribe to this channel. Come back for many more ideas like this one, sometimes more acrobatic, more on the mobility side. Very well and varied practice. See you soon. All the best. As a nice treat for all of you who are still watching, I have something for you. If you want to experience more flow in your movement, there is my Enter the Flow free online program. Yes, it is completely free and hundreds of people have already been practicing with it. Simply go to the top pinned comment or in the video description, sign up, and you will receive the program within minutes directly to your mail address. That's it. Enjoy. And if you are super excited about movement learning, check out this video or directly go to the full playlist for more awesome stuff.